I guess since we have you two together, I could ask where you two first met
At a dance.
at a dance.
We had a dance, right?
What was the name of that place?
St. Boniface.
St. Bonnie's, yeah.
Second and Diamond in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know where it was. I didn't even know how it got there. I think I traveled.
Right, well, yeah.
And
Yeah.
and what year was that? You say?
It must have been 48, because he had a birthday beginning of the year.
Yeah, 48 was.
Yeah,
Or 40, late 47, yeah.
Did someone introduce you guys to each other?
No, you saw me throwing the fan around. I
Yeah.
was standing on the stand, you know. The same things I do to Daddy. I like to see all the girls' hair blowing, you know, and I was moving back and forth. And then he said to was he your cousin, that guy? Waslowski?
No, he's just a neighbor.
But you knew
Neighborhood kid, yeah.
they
yeah.
had come to dance together.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, I'd like to meet that girl. So he knew the girl that was with me. Her name was Waslowski too. That's who, she wanted me to go to the dance that night. That was funny. And I said, no, I don't want to go. You know, I'm tired of it, and, you know, forget it. So she said, oh, please, please, you know how women do. And I did go. And then he came over to dance with her, and he said, introduce me to your friend, meaning me. And he introduced me, and then he said, I want you to meet a friend of mine. He brought me over to him and dumped me on him. But I had to stop, you know, shaking fans at people. I was a huge fan too. It could have killed him. When I think back on it.
Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I think so. Should be able to. 'Cause I got this microphone.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So then, when did you guys get married?
Oh, well, we dated a couple of times.
Yeah, we were married on Saturday,
January
the 8th, 1949.
Bad year. Bad year.
Yeah.
We had a nice wedding.
And then, of course, our first child was born on November the 17th, 1949. Paul.
And I didn't even want to wait the 9 months. But you know what he told me? He said, you have to, Peg. People will think you're not a nice girl.
Yeah.
So he wasn't premature. He was right on time.
Yeah. Where was the wedding?
Oh, the wedding was at St. Columbus Church.
Yeah, St. Columbus.
23rd and Lehigh in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And the reception was at, well, we had a breakfast first at Schroyer's at 2nd and Arch in Philadelphia. And then in the evening, we had the reception was St. Augustine's Church, 4th and Race, Philadelphia, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
And we honeymooned in New York.
And it was real warm too that day.
Yeah, it was real warm.
It was like spring. Everybody came in spring clothes too.
What was the name of that hotel in New York?
St. George?
St. George Hotel, right, in New York City. That's right, it was St. George. I didn't remember that. I forgot
I
that.
remember we went downstairs because we were so hungry in the morning,
Yeah.
and we wanted like eggs, and they burned them.
Yeah.
It was dreadful. I said,
That's
who
right.
could burn fried eggs? Jeez, over light. Yeah. It's funny how you remember those things.
Alright, so maybe I can get into each side of your family, what you guys know about your family history, I don't know, as far back as you can think of.
Oh, I can remember way back. I can
Yeah.
remember being 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know because my sister told me I was 4 at that time.
Mhm.
We moved from one house on Grat Street to a house on Ontario Street, which was Main Street. And she brought me over there. My older sister, she was the oldest one in the family. She brought me to see the house. And we walked through the house, and I thought it was really nice. It didn't have any furniture in it, so it even looked bigger. And we walked to the back, and I went out the back door. And I remember there was like a little knoll. It was all it was. It ran down, and then this little thing in the back, and it went like that to the back wall. And I was running up that and down that like I was so happy. And when I look back on it, I'm thinking that's what kids do. They would find that to be a hill, that little knoll there running up like that.
Do you know anything about the McShanes?
Oh yeah, we lived right around the corner from my aunts who were McShanes. They were like a big family of girls. We had like a lot of aunts and only one uncle from there because a couple, maybe 2 or 3 of them died in that flu. Was it what, 1918?
1918.
1918?
Yeah.
Maybe it was earlier than that.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been earlier than that because I
Might
was
have
born
been.
in
I think it was
1928.
right after World War II. World War One, rather.
And that would have been 1918.
1918, right.
Jeez. Well, they must have been older when they died, but I don't remember them. But my aunts were really good to us, my father's sisters, because he was a stonemason. And sometimes he didn't work because it was during the Depression and there wasn't any more post offices for him to build or whatever. And he would be home. And they would see too we didn't do without. They were all single. Everybody in that family was single except my father. He was cut out of the family will because he got married. He didn't only get married, he had 10 children. Oh my. But they were all good to him. They weren't cut out of the will. And they looked out for his kids.
Who wound up with him? Was there anything in the will at all?
Oh, I never saw the will naturally because this was before my time, but it was done so that, well, if you marry, you're cut out of the will. It was almost like as though she was anti-marriage, yet she had a whole slew of kids. And it was the grandmother that did that. And then she died, and my grandfather lived a while longer. He was crippled, he was arthritis, and he had to stay up in his room. And my sisters would go over and help move him from the chair to the bed. And we could see their back window from our kitchen. We'd look out the back of the house and we'd see the red cardboard in the window. That would get over there right away. All they had to do was walk out the front door and run around the corner. They were practically, we could have thrown stones at their window maybe if we couldn't afford them. But the different cards meant different things, like, please come over, but don't hurry, it'd be green.
Alright, so Grandpa.
Nickel family?
Yeah.
I only know that what my father told me, that he thinks they came over on the Mayflower, and they settled in Philadelphia, and originally they were supposed to be from County Antrim, Ireland, and the Mickle family settled in Philadelphia, and later they, as far as I know, it was my father had 3 sisters and 4 brothers, and my dad was the only boy in the family married, but his 3 sisters, they all married and had families. But and my dad, he worked for the city. He was and worked in municipal court in domestic relations. And he was also Republican committeeman in the 5th Ward, 2nd Division. And my first sister's name was Helen, and Mary was born about 18 months later. It seemed to be like an 18-month period we were all born that way, you know. And there was 9 of us. So the 2 of them died young. 2 girls died young, but there's 7 remaining. And we had a lot of cousins. And one thing I do remember is my dad, when I was just a kid, maybe 4, 5, 6 years old, he always took me to the ball games. He was a great A's rooter. And we used to go there every Saturday if the A's were home, and be like, he'd go with a doubleheader. And invariably, I used to get about the middle of the first game or something like that, and he got sick. It must have been the sun and all. And he used to come over every day. He said, Bess, no more, I'm not taking him, no more to the game, he gets sick too much. But the next week, he would take me right out there again. And then when I was about, I think I was in 1st or 2nd grade, I was run over. They pretty bad. I never forget that day. My aunt had lived up there. She had went shopping for another aunt that lived down on Fedini's mother. And we were bringing some scrapple down to him and sausage. There used to be a guy, a Hayburn. He had a stall down in the marketplace down at 2nd Street. And it was a street called Oriana Street. It was a little street between 3rd and 4th off Spruce. And I can remember walking down that Oriana Street with my cousin Joe. And Joe said, well, let's go to the corner. I said, no, we'll cross right here at Oriana. And boy, I don't remember anything like that. The car came down and run over me. And I don't remember, but later on, one of the guy owned a saloon there on the corner. His name was Morris Kimmel. He said, boy, I'll never forget that day. He was sitting back on his chair. You know how they used to sit in the chairs? And he said, I never saw anything like it. He said, you got up. And when you did, he said, there was blood coming out your nose, your ears, your mouth. He said, then you dropped right in the middle of Oriana Street. And I don't remember, I don't remember too much about the hospital, except that they told me, later on, my dad told me, he couldn't leave the hospital. He had to leave a hat there or something. I was in the hospital quite a while. And then finally, Dr. Jeffy said, I wonder, take him home, he said.
He's not gonna live. Take him home, he's not gonna live.
I get home here, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. It's my own fault. I should have went to the corner.
9 lives.
There was no light there then, but it still was, you know. And I don't know, I don't remember too much about it.
Well, it can't.
I can remember recuperating, going
when you're
across the
5 or
street.
6.
Going across the street and I'm sitting there in the sun. I must have missed about a whole year of school. Yeah. But thank God I got him all right.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of trouble with our Peggy. He was sick for a long while, Peggy. She couldn't walk. We had to take her to school. You know, we were in the old bulletin wagon. Her up those steps. She was, thank God she got all right.
She worked all her life.
Yeah. Oh, she went and worked. She worked for about 35, 40 years at the municipal court. Yeah, they all were workers. Nikki, she worked for RCA. Mary worked for the electric company for a while. Then she went to the municipal court, like Dugan did. Yeah. And Sis was born. Sis was our youngest. Yeah. Well, that's. And of course, I was born around a family where all my mother's people lived there. All my cousins. When we had sports, we could have enough cousins. We could have our own baseball team, our own football team. Never basketball. There was no place to play basketball in there. We didn't know like they do in the big. We had nothing like that. And when we played baseball, we used to play on the cobblestones down on Tuck Street. Them days, whatever they call it, Society Hill today, but them days it was Dock Street with all the produce.
Where all the
We
produce
were back there
came.
playing ball, and we had some good ball players. But we never had a chance like the kids did that here. We had nothing like that. Used to go to movies a lot. There's a place called Big Brothers, 22nd and 1. We used to walk from where we lived to 2nd and Spruce out there, about 5 or 6 of us, Sonny, Eddie, Tierney, Joey Levins, and Tatum. And we'd go up there swimming at Big Brothers.
Yeah.
And in fact, our Paul and Aiden used to go there later on. Remember,
Yeah.
they used to go down from Chestnut Street.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we had a good life, thank God.
Yeah, they were the good old days.
Yeah.
It really was. Because one time I even said to somebody, we were born in the best century you could be born in.
Mm-hmm.
We saw everything. We saw the Depression. We climbed out of that into the big war. The one that was in all the
Yeah.
papers. And we just, everything went on from there. The telephone, and everybody started getting everything. And before long, we had people like Aiden with
Yeah.
cameras that
Yeah.
could do anything.
That's another thing I meant to say,
Yeah,
like our family.
amazing.
Every war of this country, from the Revolutionary War on, there was a nickel in it.
Yeah. We don't want any Mickles in this war.
No.
And is it true that your father was a Quaker? Is that true?
No,
No.
not my father.
No.
My mother's father was a Quaker.
Oh, okay.
His name was Tatum.
He was a Tatum. Okay.
Yeah, he was Tatum. He was Quaker. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, my father's people come from Ireland. They were all Catholics, as far as I know.
Okay.
Especially his wife, my grandmother. Her maiden name was Flanagan.
Uh huh.
Yeah, she was a old strict Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
and she hated people that drank. She would go 2 blocks out of her way, so she wouldn't have to go through by a saloon. She
Yeah.
hated saloons. Yeah, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's the only one of my grandparents that I remember. I was about 6 or 7 years old, I think, when she died. First funeral I ever remember going to, too.
I just
Yeah.
vaguely remember one
Yeah.
grandmother.
Them days you walk like our house, we weren't far from church. We used to walk to church and the hearse would go up the street right alongside us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, when you guys were talking about the Depression, do you have any memories exactly something that stands out about
I
the
said to
Depression?
him one day, I really don't remember being poor. Nobody told me we were poor.
No.
And we always had something to eat. My mother
Yeah.
was, I think, a great cook. And the rest of them didn't think so, but she would make prunes with tapioca in it, and we'd have that for breakfast one day. And she'd have oatmeal for breakfast. And she was cooking
That's
on
right.
one of those black stoves. she was amazing.
I often wonder how my father did it during the Depression. He only made $1,800 a year, and all those children to keep.
Well,
I don't know.
I
But
don't-
in them days, we rented a house on Spruce Street, 216. It's still there. We only paid $25 a month rent, you know.
Mhm.
And we had a big coal bin. You could get that filled maybe for about $10 for the whole winter.
Mhm.
It'd be, the coal would be there. And it was a depression, but I can remember it. I can remember going selling newspapers and seeing the men on the street selling these apples.
Right.
I remember that.
That was another thing. We never left the house. We always
Oh,
stayed right there.
no, we got out.
Went
a lot.
around the corner to school, came
Yeah.
home. My mother was always afraid one of us was going to get killed
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she had the one daughter.
And he did have a sister get killed.
Oh,
So
really?
she always
Yeah.
kept us in.
She was
And we
about,
missed out on a lot.
10 or
We
12?
never heard of the Mummers Parade or any of those things, but that was because we were so sheltered, and that was, all right then, I guess. We didn't know any better.
I used to go. I went
That
in a
was
couple of
life.
mummers parades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one year I went out with a string band, Vader Northeast.
Yeah.
But Eddie Tierney was, he was a drummer, and they needed.
How about when he was in his hat and coat and he was walking along on the side of the
Oh
parade?
yeah.
What did they call that?
They were like marshals.
Yeah, we used to.
And he came up one time,
It
he
was
managed
so
to get
much
in,
fun.
in with a cop. He sat in that little thing they had on the motorcycles. He's going up and down. Boy,
Oh,
wait,
yeah, I
wait,
mean-
what you saying?
Oh, my kids.
Ward Street, yeah.
They loved the stories about
Yeah,
Uncle
yeah.
Ed. Oh, he was funny.
But he got me in the string band, I'll never forget it. And I didn't know anything about it. He said all you had to do was hit the drums a few times.
Yeah.
We had a big they called us dummies. A lot of those guys in the string band, you had to have
Yeah,
so
they
many,
just sold
whether
the
they
horn.
could play something
Yeah.
or not. You had to have so many, and I finally knew how to do the drum roll like they do before
Yeah.
they come into play some music.
Mhm.
But I'll never forget that. They used to, and when you go by somebody on Broad Street, you know they know you. What the hell you know about drumming?
Yeah.
and
Something
there's that
like
Eddie
that.
Turner, the old Puthead, they used to call
Yeah.
him.
Oh, he was,
Puthead.
he was the son of a gun.
We got a lot of
He
fun.
died
those
so
days.
young. I always thought, every time we had a party or anything,
Yeah.
I'd always think of Ed. I have a feeling like he shows up at these things.
Yeah.
Because he was always a lot of fun.
What the hell do you guys know about marching? You know, but we had a lot of fun. Oh, and Deanie, he had a whole
He's
brigade.
another
the whole-
one. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
another one. It was a lot
We
of
just
fun.
loved that. We just do it every year. Cold as hell, but we did
All
it. Then
those
we used to
people
love to come
died.
home, down the house, and my mother had a big sink of soup ready, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there'd be maybe 20 or 30 people coming to it, and she'd just sit and go down and get them soup.
Yeah.
We loved that, yeah.
That went on until your brother died.
Yeah, and after he died, that was it.
That
Yeah,
was it. We never
Yeah.
had it again.
yeah.
We always had a
I
good
think
time.
Sis may still do that downtown. Well, so when she was well, I don't think she does it
She doesn't
anymore.
know. No.
No. She's not well.
Or maybe one of the kids does it.
Maybe.
Katie or
Well,
one.
well, there's a few of them that still live down there, Katie and Timmy. Yeah. Anything else you want to know here?
Yeah, I mean, I want to know. Okay, where were? Okay, I'll ask Grandma, and then I'll ask you. Grandma, where were you